This is Chapter 3 of Shipwrecked. Thank you again to Pixelberry and Play Choices for partnering with me for this stream. This is, you know, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to this. So, let's go. Y'all did? Oh, see, I don't like spiders. So, I mean, spiders don't really freak me out or anything. Oh, yeah, don't really freak me out or anything. But you know, okay, let me correct that. Some spiders don't freak me out. Some spiders don't freak me out. There, it's like I had to correct myself on that. 3-pound pet tarantula? Goodness! Ah! That's wild. Ooh, you're bold. Alright. In the wake of the wreckage of the Kona winds, the mood is heavy as it sinks in that you are officially stranded on the island. You heave a heavy sigh and then turn back to the various containers. Oh, I'm so weird. I totally forgot. Our character's name is Mariah, not Miranda. Ah, that's so horrible. I can't believe I messed it up. I just thought about that. Oh, man. That is so horrible. Oh, no. Well, she's gonna be Miranda to somebody. Wow, I am so bad. I can't believe I did that. It just hit me that I totally typed it wrong. I think Miranda was Brandon's idea for the character name, and then we went with Mariah. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh well. I'm not gonna take it down because I'm really bad with names. So we will chalk that up to a joke. Mariah says, I must have missed something. There has to be something useful in here. I'm always prepared. Gilligan says, to get shipwrecked? Mariah says, to outsmart certain smart-ass captains. Gilligan says, oh, you mean I'm not the only captain in your life? And Mariah says, well, we're on a deserted island. Until we get out of here, you're the only person in my life. Gilligan secures his diving knife to his waist and then looks toward the tree line. Yeah, me too. Okay, I don't feel so bad now. I totally messed that up. I need to write this stuff down. Oh my goodness. Matter of fact, let me do that while I'm thinking about it. At least I remembered our captain's name is Gilligan. Gilligan says, we're burning daylight. We need to find a fresh water source. And Mariah says, wait, I haven't finished my second look. There might be something we missed. And Gilligan says, we don't have water, I can guarantee that. Mariah says, that doesn't mean there's nothing here that will help. You dig through the boxes, again, searching for something to prove Gilligan wrong. And Mariah says, well, maybe we can use this. Let's see. Sunscreen, champagne, your underwear to capture his attention? I don't think so. The sunscreen for his protection. Yes, Gilligan is on a deserted island. Mariah says, sunburn only leads to dehydration faster, which would mean needing even more water. Gilligan says, fine, but make it quick. He takes his shirt off, revealing his bare back to you. Mariah says, that's not what I, No, I didn't. Gilligan says, if we're gonna do this right. Stay out of the lagoon. It's got piranhas. 38 months, Raven. Wow. Thank you for continuing to subscribe to the mothership. I appreciate you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. So now, we have hit, we're getting pretty close to our goal here, actually. Because it goes by the sub points, and right now we are at 21 of 30 sub points. So that's where we're at now. I'll put that up there. So thank you for that. Mariah just went from everything's fine to I didn't mean that. Oh, red face. Mariah says, of course. You remind yourself to breathe as you squirt some of the sunscreen into your hand and then begin to rub it in. His breath catches as your fingers glide across the ripples of his back. Gilligan says, and Mariah says, safety first. You finish rubbing him down and then deposit the bottle into his pack while he puts his shirt back on. Gilligan says, ahem. Anyways, none of this seems useful for fetching water. Mariah says, well, I'm not done taking inventory yet. There's still more like... Let's see what I packed. Let's see what her field kit has in it. And Mariah says, perfect! I have stuff for to collect my samples, and I even have a little bit of iodine to purify water. Gilligan says, okay, so it's not a complete bust. Mariah says, Mariah, you were right. I should really listen to you more often. And she's mocking him. She says, thank you, Gilligan. I'm happy to see how useful my contributions are. You pack up the pocket knife, several of your beakers, and a few other items, and Gilligan eyes your supplies, nodding to the beakers. Gilligan says, gonna do some science experiments while we're out there. Mariah says, I wish. I figure we can use them to transport any water we find back here and boil some of it instead of using all our iodine. And Gilligan looks shocked and he says, that's not a half bad idea. Mariah says, I know you're hiding how impressed you are. I assure you that your secret is safe with me. I don't know where she got the knife. I know he has a knife, but I don't know where she got one. And I would be surprised if she actually packed it. Chocolate says, I forgot this book was 18. It was 17 plus, yeah. Gilligan says, you had one good idea. That doesn't make me impressed. Mariah says, sorry, did you say something? I stopped listening after you admitted I had a good idea. And he glares pointedly at you, but you smirk and move past him. Hey, shoe chick. How you doing? Mariah says, I know what you're thinking. How did I get so lucky to be stranded with this awesome woman? And Gilligan says, yup, you nailed it. Read me like a book. Oh, yeah? I know, I still have that last chapter to read. I need to read it. Gilligan says our best bet is to head inland to find a river or something. Worst case, we can collect any leftover water from last night's storm. And Gilligan slings his bag over his shoulder and leads the way into the jungle. Yeah, I love his sarcasm too. I think I really like the kind of like that banter between the two characters. You know, the doctor and the captain really, you know, seem to challenge each other, and I like that. You press close against Gilligan's back as he uses his knife to carve a path through the dense vegetation. Mariah says, "How do you know we're headed the right way?" And Gilligan says, "Intuition and my memory of that atlas." And he pauses and observes a broken palm frond and then crouches in the mud. Just as I thought, small animal tracks heading inland. These should lead us to fresh water. And Mariah says, "You're a genius. I wish I had thought of that." Oh, Marianne. Hey, I went with what the viewers wanted the names to be. Lady K came up with Mariah, and then between MA and Brandon, we got the captain's name of Gilligan Drake. So, but yeah, Marianne and Gilligan would have been a great name. Would have been a great name pairing. Mariah says, "All animals need water to survive. It makes sense to follow where they lead. I just hope it's not that far off." And Gilligan says, "Why? Have somewhere to be?" Mariah says, "Yeah, I've got a hot date." Gilligan says, "Poor guy doesn't know what he's in for." Mariah says, "The ride of his life if he plays his cards right." Ooh, okay. You glance over at Gilligan and hold his gaze for a lingering moment before the warmth in your cheeks forces you to look away. You look back to the trail ahead and then spy a patch of vibrant purple flowers. And Mariah says, "Oh, those are beautiful. I wonder what they are." And you rush ahead to get a closer look, pushing the encroaching branches out of the way. And Gilligan hurries to catch up. Yes, Marshy, I totally agree. And Gilligan looks a little upset, and he says, "You can't just go running off. It's dangerous out here." Mariah says, "I think these are part of the Boraginaceae family." Yeah, that's what we're going to say. Boraginaceae. That's where we're going with that. You can tell by the shape of the bloom. And you excitedly show Gilligan the plant, but his widened eyes are trained on you. And Gilligan says, "Whatever you do, don't look at your shoulder." And Mariah says, "Why? What?" "And it's not your city spider. It's a really big brown spider." And she shouts, "Get it off, now!" And Gilligan says, "I'll get it. Just stay still and relax." Mariah says, "There's a spider bigger than my fist on my shoulder. This is me relaxing." You're hyper-aware of all 8 legs scurrying on your shoulder, and Gilligan retrieves his knife and sets his eye on the creature. And I should scream. And Mariah screams, "Ah!" Your piercing scream startles the spider, and it moves. And Mariah says, "It's on my head!" Gilligan says, "Then hold still." He's so calm. You feel the tiny legs wriggling through your hair. Gilligan raises his knife and brushes the creature off in one fluid motion, and you breathe a sigh of relief as it scurries away into the bushes. And you notice how close Gilligan is to you now. His light breath tickles your face, his hand still resting on your shoulder. You had her stay calm? Oh, yeah, I had to switch it up. I would have died. Me too. Me too. Chocolate says, "Hand the spider to me." Let's see. I think we're going to move closer to the captain. And you close what little distance remains between the two of you, drawn instinctively towards his luscious lips. And Mariah says, "Thanks for the assist." And Gilligan says, "Glad to be of service." He smirks, angling his head towards you, his lips part in anticipation. And all you can hear is the pounding of your heartbeats, the chirp of the birds, and an unmistakable sound. And Gilligan looks shocked, and he says, "Is that..." And Mariah says, "Water!" And you grin and then race through the jungle toward the sound of the rushing water. Ooh, that is so beautiful. Look at that. It's so pretty. You push a branch aside to reveal a large waterfall cascading into a pool of crystal clear water. Oh, really? Shoot Chick says, I think your voice for him is how I picture he would probably sound. Well, thank you. That's what I thought he would sound like. Man, I tell ya, art department, killing it. I would love this to be like some wallpaper or something. It's just beautiful. Just gorgeous. They did so great with that. I would jump into that waterfall. Me too. You know what? I'm gonna ask. Chocolate says, I'm telling you, they need a raise. One of them is a wallpaper? On the Choices Wiki site? Mm-hmm. Alright, says, guess we won't be relying on storm runoff after all. Oh, okay, you can't swim, yeah. Yeah, just put your patties in the water, you put your toesies in. Just be comfortable. And you fill 2 beakers in the pool and then stir in a few drops of iodine to purify the water. Gilligan takes one and raises his glass to you. Bottoms up. And Mariah says, here's to never running out of water. As far as things go, we hit the jackpot. You greedily gulp the clean water, relishing the coolness in your dry mouth, and you slide your feet into the pool and close your eyes, completely relaxed. Mariah says, this is the best I've felt all day. And Gilligan says, good. Now collect as much water as we can carry and head back. And Mariah says, already? He says, there's a lot to do before sundown. Build a shelter, hunt for food, make a fire. Mariah says, I get that, and we will, but let's enjoy this win while we can. Besides, it's such a hot day. We'll just get more dehydrated if we work up a sweat. You dip your hand into the water and then flick a few droplets at him. Just imagine how much better you'll feel floating in this cool, crisp water. And he sighs and then looks at you kicking your feet in the refreshing pool. And Gilligan says, you're going to dig your heels in to stay here, aren't you? And Mariah says, sure am. Gilligan says, in that case. Suddenly, he strips down to his underwear and his skin glistens with sweat, highlighting the contours of his toned form. Ooh, hello. Hi, Captain. And Mariah says, what are you? Oh, I love that little sound effect there. That's great. Splash! Gilligan dives into the water, narrowly avoiding splashing you with his entrance, and he breaches the surface, lips quirked to the side. Water's great, you're missing out. Before you can respond, Gilligan dives back beneath the water, and you look at your bag and see a swimsuit peeking out. And he questioned my preparedness, Mariah's thinking. You pull out a white leaf-printed leaf-patterned, oh my goodness, patterned bikini and matching cover-up. The soft fabric glides between your fingers. And Mariah's thinking, it's cute and sexy, perfect to catch Gilligan off guard. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that sound effect either. That was great. And the tutorial says, wear this fashionable beachwear outfit to impress Gilligan and increase your survival bond. So wrong? It's right. Battle sand, water, and the sun in this sexy swimwear. Check that out. So it's white and it does have like the palm leaf patterns on it. It looks like she has a gold belly chain, and the bikini is white as well and has a gold chain around it as also. So I hope they keep doing the sound effects because that's super cool. I like that. Just adds a little bit more, you know, just gives you a little bit more to go on for, you know, imagining it, you know? So let us buy that item, shall we? You strip and toss your old sandy clothes on a rock nearby. As you adjust the bikini's clasp, you glance behind. Gilligan's head peers out of the water, watching you curiously. And Mariah says, hey, this is a private show. Gilligan says, I don't see anyone else around. And you can feel his gaze on you as you tighten your straps and then slide the sarong around your waist, letting it flow down your legs. And Mariah says, well, what do you think? Suspension of disbelief, Rita. Choices Lady says, pretty. That's what I say too. Oh yeah, wearing a bathing suit is going to help me survive the island. Yes, it is going to help us survive. You know how irritating sand is? He takes his time to drink in the sight of you, one eyebrow cocked as his gaze trails down your body. And we add a little bit of bond points to our relationship meter. And Gilligan says, it's a look, a very good look. Mariah says, how verbose. And he says, are you gonna come in the water or not? You slowly wade into the pool and paddle over to Gilligan, and you close your eyes, enjoying the refreshing feel of the water against your skin. And Mariah says, well, who knew water could feel so good? And Gilligan says, I could stay here all day. You don't mind getting us food and making camp, do you? Mariah says, well, it depends. Do you like sleeping in the elements? Because if I make camp by myself, I guarantee you, I will be the only one to enjoy it. And Gilligan says, oh, damn. I was looking forward to sleeping together. And you feel your cheeks grow warm at the thought of your bodies huddled together on the beach. You quickly look away, splashing the water absent-mindedly. And Mariah says, I mean, you can always help. I won't say no. Gilligan says, maybe. I'll think about it. Gilligan lies back and floats on the water, relaxing as he listens to the hum of the jungle. And Gilligan says, this is the life. Yes, he has. He has always been this forward. He's one of those uninhibited types. With a mischievous smirk, you plunge underwater, and Gilligan floats just above you, not a care in the world. Mariah's thinking, a prime target. I should, pull him under or stroke his back. You know what? I'm going to let her be a little bit more, reserved, and we're going to pull him under. You tug his leg and bring him below the surface. Gilligan says, what the? Or he's thinking, what the? Because I don't think he said it. And he flails for a moment and then notices you. A few bubbles escape his mouth as he smirks, and you can barely make out what he says through the water. You'll regret this, he says. You follow Gilligan to the surface and catch your breath. Immediately, he greets you with a hard splash, and you wipe away the water dripping down your face. Mariah says, I see how it is. And you splash him right back and then swim away, barely dodging his retaliating strike. Gilligan says, don't start a water war unless you're ready to finish it. Mariah says, I always finish what I've started. Gilligan says, we'll see about that. Gilligan catches up to you, capturing you in his strong hold, and you hold your hands up in surrender. All right, I yield. You win. He chuckles and then releases you from his embrace. You swim across the pool closer to the roaring waterfall, and you lean your head back and enjoy the refreshing droplets falling on your skin. And she says, I'll never take water for granted again. Yeah, yeah, the chemistry and their flirting is very cool. I like it. He says, it might be hard if we make it off this island. When, not if. We can't give up hope yet. And when we make it off, I'm taking you to dinner. It's the least I could do to show my appreciation. And he says, alright, Doc, but I'll warn you, I'm not a cheap date. I'm thinking a nice, juicy steak and fresh, buttery lobster. And now you're just making me hungry! Hey, you mentioned dinner. I'm just figuring out the entrees. The current from the waterfall pushes you against Gilligan's chest, and he looks at you and begins to chuckle. What's so funny? You've got a rogue leaf in your hair. Here, I'll get it. Gilligan draws closer, reaching up to gently remove the foliage from your hair, and he leaves his hand against your cheek, his laughter now replaced with something else. MRI says, thanks. His eyes dart behind you. A small smirk plays on his lips. You know, I've got an idea to make this more interesting. You really don't understand the concept of rest and relaxation, do you? Says the woman who started a water fight. And just like that, he takes off swimming toward the waterfall, and you continue to wade in the water, watching his every move. He scales the cliffside with ease, and then stands at the very top and yells, Listen up, Doc! Come jump with me, I'll make it worth your while. And Mariah says, how? I'm sure I'll think of something. Take a leap of faith off the waterfall with Gilligan and have a chance to heat things up. Okay, we're gonna jump off the cliff. Let's do it. Whatever you're planning, it better be worth it. The view's worth it on its own. You carefully scale the waterfall, following the path you saw Gilligan take and using the same handholds as him. Mariah says, you made this look so easy! Good news is, the way down's a lot easier. And when you reach the top, Gilligan reaches out to help pull you up. Your footing is shaky, so he secures an arm around your waist to keep you from falling. And you look out and see the island's luscious greenery extending for miles. The waterfall roars beneath you, cascading into the clear pool below. And Mariah just looks shocked, and she says, you are kidding about the view? He says, when do I ever kid? She says, you really want me to answer that? He chuckles, shaking his head. You look out at the picturesque overlook as the sun moves out from behind a stray cloud, casting Gilligan in a warm light. Agreed. And Mariah says, you can't beat this company. And your eyes wander across his body. The sun highlights his strong jawline, chiseled arms, and toned legs. And Gilligan says, I'm not some piece of meat, you know. And she says, well, can you blame me for admiring the view? Yes. He wanders to the edge of the cliff, and you go to join him and realize how high up you are. And Mariah says, it's a long way down. And he says, luckily, it's a pretty quick one too. But, if it makes you feel better, we could jump together. And Mariah says, if you... Let's see, and there's two options. Need me by your side to feel safe, you could say so. Or, comfort me some more, I can do it. Let's see. If you need me by your side to feel safe, you could say so. I promise I won't judge much. Yeah, I don't know how I managed all 30 years of life without you to keep me safe. And Mariah says, truly, a miracle. Good thing you can count on me except when I'm drowning, or about to fall off a cliff, or have a spider on me. And he chuckles and shakes his head. Gilligan says, might as well jump then. I'm ready, I think. You peer over the side. The water roars over the cliff, crashing into the pool below. Maybe... What if I hit a rock, or trip as I jump, or land the wrong way? Just then, Gilligan surges forward and kisses you deeply. And Mariah says, oh! Before you can register what just happened, Gilligan pulls back. Don't think, just feel. And he winks, and then jumps off the edge, and you call after him. What about jumping together? And you don't give it a second thought as you take the plunge after him. Wind whips across your face as the water below rushes toward you. And Gilligan screams, ah! And Mariah screams, woo! No, actually not right now. At least I knew what to expect here. You can't help but smile as you as you feel the rush of air hitting you. See, you messed me up. You stop it right now. Mariah says, this is awesome. And you plunge into the cool water just after Gilligan, and then surface mere inches from each other. And you surge with a mix of adrenaline and relief. Oh, y'all are funny. Mariah says, that was amazing! I can't believe I actually did that! And you throw your arms around Gilligan, grinning from ear to ear. And you replay the events in your head, the rush of the wind against your skin, the beating of your heart inside your chest, and the feel of his lips against yours. Mariah says, you kissed me! And you pull back to watch his face carefully, and your breathing slows. Time stops as neither of you say a word. And Gilligan says, I... Suddenly, Gilligan closes the distance and kisses you again. On instinct, your arms slide around him, pressing his body tightly to yours. And Mariah says, I think she kind of whispered, like, don't stop. And that's all it takes for him to let go. His strong arms encircle you, enticing you closer with his kisses. And your tongue slides against his, and it feels like your skin is suddenly on fire, despite the water surrounding you. And Mariah hums. His lips desperately explore yours, each press more urgent than the last, and he gently sucks your lower lip, letting out a low groan of pleasure. Gilligan whispers, Mariah. And he blazes a trail of kisses across your jawline and down your neck as both of you tread water to stay afloat. And you tilt your head back in the water, inviting him in. Let's see. The MC is just so sassy. I should pull him underwater. You flash a wicked smile before dipping beneath the water and pulling Gilligan down after you. And you cup the back of his neck, recapturing his mouth with yours. The sensation of the cool water contrasting with the heat of your mouth sends a shiver down your spine. Mariah's like, oh... And your limbs tangle together as you continue to kiss underwater, each of you desperately clinging to the other. And just as your lungs start to burn with the same intensity as your kisses, you both resurface to take a gasping breath of air. And Mariah says, that was... wow. Gilligan says, was? Who says I'm done? He returns to your lips, his kiss is somehow hungrier than before, and your tongues battle for control, neither of you ready to surrender. And he says, I want you. And his hand slinks down your body and plays with your waistband, and your muscles tense, aching for his touch. Mariah says, please? As your heart pounds and your breathing grows heavier, his fingers begin to slide below. And just then, a roar rings out from the forest nearby. And Mariah says, what was that? And he says, I don't know, I was a bit preoccupied. Mariah says, I'm serious, I think I heard something. And the startled sound sobers you from Gilligan's intoxicating presence, and you pull away and head to the shore to investigate. You climb out of the water and squint through the forest for the source. Mariah says, I don't see any. And just then, Gilligan's hand squeezes your shoulder. His eyes fixed to the tree canopy above. And he says, no sudden movements. And you hear a low growl. Slowly, you tilt your head up to find a pair of yellow eyes staring at you from the branches above. The dark figure stalks closer. And it's a panther. And Mariah says, crap! That was the end of our chapter. Wakanda, stop. So funny. It has to be their future dinner. Oh, ouch. It's our new pet next week.